Well, hello again, everybody. This is Presidential Director Brian Lucia with a free energy version of Message of the Month. And my goodness, what an exciting time we are in our Ignite business with free energy just now in its infant stages, beginning to take off. And to help us with not only a vision of what free energy can do for our businesses, but some really great examples on how to build your business with free energy as a marketing tool. Joining me this month for our interview segment are Presidential Directors Wendell Campbell and Jerry Scribner, along with Executive Director Stefan Rodriguez. Hey, guys.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, Brian.
Glad to be on.
Well, I want to get right into free energy, and thanks for the three of you being with us. We'll have somewhat of a roundtable discussion here. And, it's been a couple of months since free energy was announced at our Super Saturday event, the end of September. And it seems like it's came out of the gates with a lot of excitement, but then there were some people that really kind of froze, like, okay, well, how do I do this? What do I do with it? Is it as great as it feels? And now we're starting to see, with a little bit of time, people who are triggering free energy for themselves, whether it be free electricity or free natural gas, or both in some cases, already at their particular home. But let's talk really on what this is doing for our Ignite business. And Wendell, I'm going to come to you first. And matter of fact, then Jerry and Stefan, if you'll each follow suit after Wendell in that order. Let's talk about how it's really helped re-engage some associates who, for whatever reason, life gets in the way, and they may have put their Ignite business down last year, this summer, whenever it was, if life was in the way. And give us an example of how free energy is helping people on your team get really back in the business, if you will.
Absolutely, Brian. Well, one thing I think is so powerful about free energy is just the word free actually perks people's ears up. And what I'm seeing across the board, speaking with senior directors, other executive directors, Jerry and I and Stephen have visited about this, is that we're seeing a general overall excitement about it. But not only that, people are taking action with it from the standpoint that they're leading with value into the marketplace with the thought and idea of free energy and really using that as a platform now, Brian, that in and of itself, they're using that to really build their Ignite business. And what we're seeing is people re-engaging, really stepping up, using it as a tool to build their business. And I would say not only the tool, but really becoming the main tool. Because what I have seen so far, and Jerry and I have talked about this as well as Stefan, we have seen really, Brian, a mindset of people shifting where maybe they were kind of laying back, not taking as much action, but now they're re-engaging because of free energy. And really, when people start getting that free energy credit each and every month on their bill, that free energy credit really equals residual income coming to that household each and every month.
Yeah, and it is really bringing people to the forefront of the business by going out and just taking action at the very least. Jerry Scribner, you're a top money earner, have been for a few years, and I know you're passionate about helping people with free energy on how to utilize it. Let's talk about that in just a few moments. But have you seen some associates who have really started running again with the business because they thought, hey, you know what, I'm going to go get my electricity or my natural gas paid for?
Absolutely, Brian. Excuse me. I've got a managing director in Houston that basically been inactive for about the last year. And 3 or 4 weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, I sat down with him one Saturday, and we just talked about the possibilities of building the business through free energy. And number one, he getting free energy. And he got excited about the concept. And within 4 days, he had set 12 appointments. Now, this is a gentleman that hadn't done anything in a year. But using the free energy concept, he had set 12 appointments, had done a number of presentations, and actually had sponsored somebody within 4 days. So I think it's a fantastic tool that we've got to work with.
It certainly is a tool, and it's one thing I'll throw in here, guys, that I think has been a pretty common misunderstanding as I've traveled around and spoken with people at different business presentations. There's a lot of people who feel maybe in how it was introduced at Super Saturday, that this was a promotion. And I like to say this is a way of life. Free energy is not something that's got a timeline on it of a month or 2 months. This is a part of who we are now, and it's a part of our business model, and that's great. And people have got to see that to know, okay, it's not going away. I really want to get behind it. Stefan, as an executive director, you have become one of the top trainers in this company and done so much for so many people. And I know that you've really gone to the grassroots. When the free energy was announced, you went back to some people to tell them about it. Are you seeing some people who are excited, first and foremost, about getting their own electricity paid for?
Yeah, it's amazing how powerful it is, Brian. You know, one of the things I did right after Super Saturday is I went and had some, I guess you could say, some smaller little personal Super Saturdays with the people that weren't able to attend Super Saturday, and we're getting the word out about it. And it's amazing. We're starting to see some teams that hadn't really had any activity in quite a while for whatever reason, and they're back alive again, having weekly meetings at their homes and sharing information about free energy on a daily basis. I've actually had quite a bit of activity on my team. It's actually the leading force now on my team that's all pushing the free energy program. And then some of my personal efforts, I'm going back to those people that I shared Ignite with many years ago, and I'm leading with free energy, and they're asking me that question, as you know, can I just go out and just get free energy? Can I just go get some customers to get free energy? I'm like, absolutely. If that's what piques your interest, then by all means, we can just focus on that first. And so on our personal recruiting efforts, I've seen a lot of new activity, and then the team is just absolutely fired up about it. And the one big thing is we got to get out there and start telling people that it's now available to go get free electricity and free gas. So things are really ramping back up with this program, Brian.
Well, we're going to give some people some great tips on how to, but I think the first thing is what you just said, the action. Everyone's got to take action. Activity breeds activity. It's a matter of going out there and start talking again. Hey, Wendell, you mentioned something a moment ago that it's really like a form of MEI. And I've always said that I think that the one hole in our swing about our compensation plan is if somebody is short-sighted, if they're an instant gratification type of person and they don't see long-term and the power of a long-term residual, it may not move fast enough for them. Well, meaning as far as the MEI. I'm going to ask all three of you guys to answer this next question for me and do it kind of in a rapid fire, and we'll go in order. Wendell, Jerry, and Stefan. I want you to think about, I'll just throw a number out here, $200 to $300. How long from the day you joined did it take you to get a residual check of $200 to $300 a month? Wendell, I'll start with you, and Stefan will end with you.
Yeah, about 7 months.
Okay.
Roughly 7 months.
Jerry?
I would say 7 to 8 months.
Stefan?
Same for me, Brian. Maybe a little bit longer, but somewhere in that 6 to 10 month range.
Well, for those of you listening to this message of the month, here's why I asked that is, now remember that was them, we'll say 7 to 10 months or, just under a year to get that much residual. But remember, with our comp plan, there's bonuses being paid on a weekly basis as we're growing our team. But I think with the primary focus of residual, while we're building and waiting for that proverbial snowball to grow, this is a chance to have, call it a $200 or $300 or $100 or $200 residual coming in much quicker because of free energy. If somebody's got a couple $100 a month electricity bill that's getting paid for, wouldn't you guys agree that's kind of the same as having MEI?
Absolutely. It totally is. And I tell you, Brian, I don't know if we understand the value of that as associates right now. And what that can bring to the marketplace. But I tell you what, you start helping a family get $100 credit a month on their energy bill, that's $1,200 a year, brother. That's real value and real savings for a family right out of the blocks.
Bingo. That's good stuff. Hey, Stefan, let me throw this at you. I know you're a numbers guy. I've seen the spreadsheets you've put together. When it comes to what Wendell said, the proposition, the value-added benefit to this, have you given thought to, and if you will, help everyone get a feel of your vision of, I look at it, more customers per IA, more customers per associate, meaning if before people were getting, 3 to 5 to 7 a month on their way to getting 10. If everybody's shooting for 15 for free energy, then if each associate's customer gathering gets larger and their number of customers per associate is larger, that just means more MEI for every associate. Have you put pen and paper to that, and has that really gotten you excited?
And I have, Brian. I have, by all means. And that's one of the first things that I realized looking at changing the numbers from 10 customers per associate to 15. I realized that it's going to boost everyone's income from the brand new associate to the long-term associate that sticks with it. But more importantly is I truly believe, Brian, that 15 customers is going to be easier to attain than the 10 customers was, simply because of how much value is being placed on getting 15 customers as opposed to how much value was there for 10 customers. Obviously, we know that 10 customers helps complete our power unit. It helps us get our first promotion to managing director. But when it comes to getting the actual dollar amount that we're talking about, getting that free electricity, there's so much more value per household. And therefore, obviously, each individual Ignite associate is now going to start bringing in more customers, which means more residual income for themselves, more residual income for the entire Ignite field. So, yeah, it's going to change things in a dramatic way, changing that average amount of customer per associate.
That is so well said. I like the term dramatic because I didn't think about that, Stefan. We chased the 10th customer point for the Quick Start 10 bonus and for qualification for MEI and to promote to managing director. But as Wendell said, even if it's just $100 energy credit per month, there's $1,200 a year. So there is more of an incentive for somebody to go get those 15 customers because it's a continual payment, if you will. All right, let's change gears. We've talked a little bit about how we can all benefit from free energy at our own house and how it's helping a lot of associates really get energized and re-engage in the business. It's helping new associates move to those 15 customers very quickly, maybe compared to the old days of somebody just trying to go out and get 10. But ultimately, what a lot of people missed when free energy was announced is while it was a great thought from Rob Snyder and the corporate staff, that it's a bigger idea than I think some people grasped. And so often people thought, well, I want my electricity or my natural gas free. But what they might have missed is what this ultimately is a marketing hook. It's a conversation starter. And it's the ultimate sponsoring tool or invitation. And Jerry, you have really spearheaded helping people with a very simple way to not necessarily be scripted, but to open up dialogue. And so I'm going to let you throw that out there because I know you're passionate about helping all Ignite associates, taking the free energy and turning it into a huge organization.
You bet. Well, 4 or 5 weeks ago, Wendell and I had just a little brainstorming session where we were really excited about this, and we wanted to come up with something very simple that anybody could do right out of the gate. And Wendell came up with the idea, the concept of, have you heard of that free energy thing? And when I heard it, I said, Wendell, that's it. Now, what we did in about a 24-hour segment, I said, Wendell, here's what we're going to do. We're going to test this before we ever share it with anybody. So in the next 24 hours, I'm going to just simply ask 10 people, hey, have you heard of that free energy thing? And Wendell was going to do the same. And in that 24-hour period, I did not ask 10, I asked 8, but all 8 of them responded exactly the same way with, no, how does that work? Or no, you mean I can get free energy? What are you talking about? It was a positive response from all 8 people, and Wendell had the same exact results. So I knew we were onto something.
So let's talk about that phrase and break it down and tell them, who the folks listening, it doesn't get much harder than that. That's the hook, if you will, or the phrase. I don't even like to say scripted things, but it's just a matter of opening up dialogue. Wendell, jump in here. Jerry mentioned that the two of you worked on this. Give us that opening line, if you will.
Yeah, it was Jerry just was rambling that one morning about all kinds of thoughts. We're throwing stuff out, and he started packaging together, as we were talking about stuff, really a script immediately on the phone, or some phrases that we could bring together, Brian, that would create interest. And one thing that I really like about what came out of the conversation was Jerry just took it to the next level. He took a basic question to start creating some interest or make people think. But here's what he did that I thought was so phenomenal, and this has been huge, Brian. Right behind that question, immediately leads with value. And this is where we raise the value, Brian, of the information of free energy in the candidate or prospect's mind. It's really about them, and we need to lead with value for them of what free energy could possibly be for them, what they could receive. And the way you do that, and I love the way Jerry phrased this, is that you do it by sharing with them what you're going to receive through free energy, through the free energy program. And so after we kind of got down the first statement of, hey, have you heard about that free energy thing? The next thing that Jerry came right behind that with, which I thought was beautiful, was, well, Brian, they're going to say no. So the next line is, well, I figure my family's going to save approximately $1,200 to $1,500 this year on free electricity coming to our home. And with that money, we're going to take our family to Disney World, or whatever line you want to throw out there. And what it does, Brian, it immediately creates a high level of interest and value for that person listening to you talk, because you're not telling them exactly what free energy is. You're telling them the value that you're going to receive, which naturally makes them want to receive that same value. And I got to tell you, that's been the 1-2 punch where we've seen, Brian, as people use this script, they're going 5 for 5 and 10 for 10 on setting appointments.
Well, and the key there, Wendell, is that, since day one in this business, all four of us have been telling people the importance of finding out somebody's why and providing Ignite as a solution. What we're doing now with throwing that out is getting their mind opening up, because they're not dreaming anymore. They're not thinking anything else can happen in their lives in positive ways. So when you say, hey, I figure it's going to save my family $1,200 to $1,500 this year, I'm going to use that money to take my kids to Disney World. Well, boom, all of a sudden, that person's thinking in their head, my gosh, what would I do with an extra $1,500? And that's the ultimate, because no matter how great something sounds, it's got to be tailored or personalized to that individual. And we can't shove it down their throat. It has to be their idea. They have to want it. They have to think about what's in it for me. And the minute we say that second phrase there, they're going to be thinking, man, what would I do with that money? And worst case scenario, if they're not already thinking, hey, I'd like that too, then we can say, what would you do with it? What would you do with an extra, $1,000 to $1,500 next year? And so what you guys have really started a grassroots of really utilizing free energy as a marketing tool. Jerry, back to you. You mentioned the success ratio. Both of you have talked about people having a lot of success. Take us a step further. We've only got a couple of minutes left, and I really want to get down to how people should be utilizing this to build their Ignite business. So take us to the next step, Jerry.
You bet. Once they say, no, I haven't heard about it, how does it work? And you say, well, in 2014, I figure I'm going to save about $1,200, and I'm going to use that money to take my family on vacation. They instantly come back and they say, well, tell me, how do I do it? What an amazing thing to have people asking you for a presentation. And what I like to do is I just guide them to a video. And you can choose, one of the videos in the Power Center and email a link, or however you want to do, text them a link and have them watch a video. But I do it in a way that I say, well, here's exactly how I do it, Brian. I say, well, a friend of mine, this is very key, a friend of mine had me watch a video online that explained the whole thing in detail. I even watched it on my smartphone.
That's good. Now,
and they go, here's the next thing they say. Well, how could I get access to the video? And I go, well, how soon could you watch it? And then they'll say, well, I could watch it right now. Great. I'll send it to you right now. But I'm going to call you back in about 15 minutes just to follow up and see if you have any questions. If they say, I can't watch it till tonight, great. I'll call you tonight. And
Yeah,
I'll send it to you later,
the key
later
there is
tonight. And what I'm doing is I'm setting up that three-way call.
exactly. The key there is setting a firm appointment like we've always taught people, and the three-way call is the powerful thing. So if somebody's listening out there and they're not as confident as you and Wendell and Stefan, Jerry, then certainly they need to utilize their upline to help them with that. Stefan, let me come to you. Now, Jerry used a great phrase that I like, and that, hey, a friend of mine told me, and that's great if all of us are going out and talking to a new prospect, maybe a new cold market prospect or someone we haven't spoken to. But I know all three of you have had success reaching back, if you will, going back to that list of names to someone who might have said no thank you in the past. Obviously, you're not going to say a friend of mine told me because they know you've been working the business for a while. What are you doing in those regards? Because I think all of us need to go back to our list of names. Stefan, have you tweaked that a little bit in going back to them?
Actually, surprisingly, Brian, I'm using the same exact approach because it is brand new, not only to us, brand new to everyone. So I'm kind of really treating them like I really haven't spoken to them. If you lead in with, have you heard about that free energy thing? I'm still getting the same response, even if I've actually shared the entire presentation with them. Occasionally I'll get someone that says, is that related to the business you've been running? And I'll gladly say yes, and tell them that it's a brand new initiative and that we've got to sit down and look at it.
Perfect.
So I'm still leading in the same way to keep it very simple. I think that we need to make sure that we understand this is brand new. This is something new for ourselves and for everyone we've shown it to in the past. So personally, I'm leading in that way.
Well, and I think you just touched on something, and Wendell, I'll get you here to give us the last word as we've run out of time. But it is really the excitement. It's the enthusiasm and how we call people. If we're calling back the people that we've talked to in the past or talking to somebody new, they're only going to be excited if we're excited. And when you really think of free energy and all the things that we've discussed to the associate listening to this message of the month that it does for each of us individually and for the company, my goodness, we should all be very excited, and we just need to reach out and call people. Is there something in specific detail other than the scripted stuff that you're helping your team, pick up that phone and try to be, excited to convey the message?
Brian, I really think that, like Stephen just nailed it with it. The concept is being so new, and I think your enthusiasm, Brian, and your energy as an Ignite associate, whether you're a director all the way up to a presidential director, when you're reaching out to people on your team that might be idle for a while or people that you talked to 24 months ago about Ignite, and maybe they were, resistant at the time or the timing wasn't right for them, I think leading with the value of free energy, but the excitement in your voice, I think is going to initially draw them in. And I tell you, when you lay on them this script, even if it's people you talk to, like Stefan said, 3 years ago, I'm using the same script. And I told Jerry this, Brian, I called one of the most resistant guys I know right out of the blocks just to test the free energy script. And even though he was resistant to me in the past with maybe Ignite or the timing wasn't right for him, I can tell you this, the most resistant person I've ever known was completely open to the idea of gaining that free energy credit for him and his family, because he didn't look at it necessarily as I'm going out building a massive network marketing team. His mindset, Brian, was just the opposite. It is, I'm going out building just a hub of a few customers to gain that free energy credit for my family. That's why he's going to be taking action.
Okay, guys, we got to do this quick because we're way over on time, but I just don't think we can stop this without a good role play. So here's what I want to do to finish this up. Jerry, I want you to play the role of the Ignite associate, calling somebody. And Wendell, you are the candidate, the prospect who either has or hasn't heard of Ignite in the past. And Jerry, you're going to call him and talk to him about free energy. Guys, get through it very quickly, set the appointment so someone can hear how that would go.
You got it. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Wendell, this is Jerry.
Hey, brother, how's it going?
Good. Listen, I'll be very quick. I'm just curious. Have you heard of that free energy thing?
No, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, you won't believe this, but over in 2014, I estimate I'm going to save about $1,200 on my electricity bill. And Monica and I are going to use that money to take a vacation with the girls.
Do what, bro? You gonna save $1,500 doing what?
Well, yeah, I had a friend of mine send me a link to a video that I watched online, and it showed me how I could get free energy, free electricity, and we're going to use that money to take a vacation.
So you're going to be able to get free electricity, free energy every month, and you're going to be able to go on a vacation with what you save from it. How in the world are you doing that, bro?
Well, if you'd really like to know how, I'd be happy to send you a link to the same video. How soon do you think you might be able to watch it?
Bro, if you got that link right, I mean, how long is it? I mean, I'll be happy to take a look at it. I mean, I got, 15 minutes. I can take a look at a link.
Well, I'll promise you it's less than 15 minutes.
Well, fantastic, brother. Well, I mean, you send it to me. I'll be happy to take a look at that, man. I'm all into making and saving some money and whatever else I can do.
You bet. Now, could you watch it right now, or would it be better for sometime tonight?
No, I'll tell you what. I'll carve out a few minutes and just get off into the corner and watch it. Not a problem.
All right, I'm going to send you a link, and in the message, it's going to say free electricity video, and I'll give you a call back in about 20 minutes. But what I'm going to do, Wendell, because it's kind of new to me, I don't know how to explain everything. I'm going to have a friend of mine that I'll have sitting by. That if you ask me a question and I don't know how to answer, I'll be able to three-way that person in, and they'll be able to answer any questions you got. Fair enough?
Yeah, I'm open to that, brother. Not a problem. You're going to send me that link right now?
It's on its way.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You bet.
Great job, guys. Certainly appreciate you role-playing that. It is as simple as it sounds, and we just got to pick up the phone and make the calls. Stefan Rodriguez, Executive Director, want to thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure, Brian. Thanks for having me.
All right. And Presidential Director Wendell Campbell, thank you very much for all your knowledge and expertise.
Man, my honor, Brian. Always a pleasure to get to spend some time with you guys on the phone.
All right. And Jerry Scribner, Presidential Director, and really the guy helping spearhead the Free Energy Initiative out there. Thank you, buddy.
You bet, Brian.